Alrighty, we are live. Hello, everybody on TikTok. Tracking a severe weather threat currently in Georgia. This will spread over into the Carolinas later today. But for now, let's just focus on Georgia. We have a tornado watch currently in place over places like Dalton, Trenton, Ringgold, Lafayette, Somerville, Rome, Cartersville, Adairsville, Jasper, LJ, Blue Ridge. All these places could see some pretty significant severe weather in the near future. So always be on the lookout. Oops. Just fixing it. Hello, everybody. Alright. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in place for Trenton, Ringgold, Lafayette. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce those two. But you get the point. In northwest Georgia, severe weather will start. Thank you all for joining my stream. If you're on it. If you don't mind, maybe consider following or subscribing depending on which platform you want, because I cover severe weather for the Carolinas and Georgia. I always do. And that's the only place I cover in terms of severe weather. I will do Winston-Salem. Once the line gets over here, I will cover Winston-Salem. Albertville. Exactly where is Albertville? Albertville, Alabama. Albertville. The line has passed over Albertville at this point. So there may be some isolated thunderstorms behind this line, but other than that, I think you guys are in the clear now. I was looking for Middle Georgia. Middle Georgia is about 2 or 3 hours away from this line moving in, and it should weaken slightly by the time it reaches mid-Georgia. Don't exactly not too sure because there's a lot of uncertainties in the models right now. What's Lagrange? Whiteville, North Carolina. Let's see. Yes, Whiteville. Whiteville will be later on in the day. Alright, this will probably be around 6 or 8 p.m. I'm gonna actually move you guys, or at least try to, so I can see these comments better, because I'm not able to see them. Woodstock, Georgia. Let's find Woodstock. Now, I will tell you guys, I'm not super good with specific towns or like counties outside of South Carolina, so if you tell me the nearest major city to where it is, I can narrow down the location for you. So once all the rain stop around, so Alabama, Mobile, Alabama. Why am I having trouble with this? It's like a super big city. Severe weather will be moving into Mobile in a little bit. For now, I think you guys are fine for like the next hour or two. Now, I won't be able to answer everybody's questions. So I apologize for that. Alright. A little north of Atlanta. Thank you for that. I see it. So, Woodstock. This tornado warning, or this tornado watch right here expires in 3 hours. And by the time it hits right here, it should be around like 4 or 5. Maybe even 6. So you guys don't have to worry just yet. You still have time to prepare if you need to. Oh my gosh. 34 new message. Miami, Florida tomorrow afternoon. New problem. Repton, Alabama. Repton. Where is Repton? Alright, you know what? I might have to just hold you guys, to be completely honest, because I can't see. Can you check Monroe? Danville, Virginia. I don't know where Monroe is, but I do think I know where Danville is. It should be like around Roanoke, isn't it? Huh. Well, I'll pull up the day 1 outlook for everybody. Alright, this is the day 1 outlook. In the red, we are looking at some potentially dangerous wind gusts pushing 75 miles per hour. That is possible. And in the red, some big cities are Raleigh, Fayetteville, Florence, Lumberton, Richmond, and Washington, D.C., and, maybe part of Baltimore. Yes, part of Baltimore. Now, looking up, into New York, to answer your question, one of you guys asked me about Buffalo. Buffalo is in the general thunderstorm risk, which means that there's less than 2% chance that will, that you guys will get severe weather today. Anything in LaGrange, Georgia? Let's look. So LaGrange is supposed to, have a marginal risk today, and if we actually look at the wind risk, there's a 5% wind risk over this general area, which roughly translates into like 1 or 2 damaging wind gusts per like mile. Alright, sorry. Hang on. Getting pin comment true. Tornado for LaGrange. LaGrange does not appear to be under a tornado risk right now. At the current moment, that could change in the future. Lawrenceville, Georgia. Where... See, I feel like I know where this is, but like... Oh, it was staring at me. Sorry about that, guys. I am horrible with geography. Lawrenceville, Georgia. Similar situation to LaGrange. 5% wind risk, which is like a couple of damaging wind gusts here and there. And 0% tornado risk. Or, well, I should say less than 2%, because there is always a risk. Now, what I think will happen is, I'm going to go to the, Storm Prediction Center, and I'm going to look at the current Day 1 outlook. Alright, so the current Day 1 outlook is a lot different than, that. Sorry about that, I was reading the wrong outlook, it's late. Or maybe I should say it's early. So, areas in Georgia have a 5% hatched risk. That means that there is a 5% risk, of tornadoes, and some of those tornadoes could be strong, aka EF2 or greater. Jeez, I'm getting so many messages. NC Sanford. Yes, I can look at NC Sanford. Let's go to Sanford. Where is Sanford? I was just in Sanford. I think, isn't it like near Fayetteville? Are we supposed to be at risk tomorrow? I keep hearing this. Yes, we are supposed to be at risk, depending on where you are. Pretty much everywhere in North Carolina is at some kind of risk for damaging winds and, tornadoes. Same goes with, South Carolina, Virginia, and the western parts of Pennsylvania and parts of central New York. And that is the state, not the city. As well as parts of Georgia and Florida. All of those locations could see some form of tornado or damaging wind gust today, whether it be a weak damaging wind gust or a very strong one. And we could see some pretty strong wind gusts today. It's Maryland. Okay, so Maryland, it depends on where you are in Maryland. The main risk here is that Maryland is under a very high risk for damaging winds. Like 60% risk. This has actually only been issued once in this region. So what we're expecting is widespread damaging winds here, and a lot of them are going to be intense. Possibly over 75 miles per hour. Now, if you have a sturdy home, this is going to, not really affect you that much, but power outages are much more likely with this storm than your typical, severe weather event. Alright. Northern Virginia is a similar situation to Maryland. You could see some potentially destructive wind gusts, but as far as like threat to life is, as long as you're staying inside for the worst part of the storms, you should be fine. And obviously, don't go near power lines, all that stuff. Now there is a tornado risk in both Maryland and Virginia, and this is a 15% hatch tornado risk. It's 15% chance of a tornado happening within 25 miles of a given location, and there's also a chance that that tornado is strong, being EF2 or EF3. What is a flash goal? Sure. Hang on, I'm trying to click this. Alright. It's getting bad in Saudi Daisy, Tennessee. Yeah, I bet. It's pretty bad in Tennessee right now. We're looking at 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Those are pretty high end, even though that's the lower end of, in terms of severe weather, that's still pretty high, and that's like enough to shake a house. Pittsburgh, PA. Let's go up to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh does seem... Well, actually, let's check first. I feel like Pittsburgh might get a few isolated thunderstorms in the near future, but I don't think that it's gonna be bad. Just because there's not enough instability right there, and the cold front isn't sharp enough to trigger any widespread severe thunderstorms. How about Charlottesville, VA? U to VA. Charlottesville. Where exactly is Charlottesville? Virginia is a very big state. It's a lot bigger than it looks. Is there like a city that it's near? Oh, it's right above the VA logo. Oh, alright, I see it. Alright, so Charlottesville is gonna get it pretty bad. We're looking at the wind. There is a 60% hatched risk for damaging winds in Charlottesville. And that's obviously not super ideal, but the thing with the damaging winds is that they could be the highest they've ever been, 120 miles per hour, and you'll still be completely safe as long as you're taking the proper precautions. North Augusta, South Carolina. Yes, I will cure your paranoia. Alright. For North Augusta, it could be a similar situation to Columbia. Columbia's Columbia, North Augusta, Augusta, maybe not Augusta since it's right on the edge, but that general area is supposed to receive some pretty significant wind gusts today, but they won't be as bad as areas up here in this 60% area. So we might see some wind gusts from 65 to 70 miles per hour. Maybe if the conditions line up an occasional 80-mile-per-hour wind gust, but other than that, there should be a pretty the environment isn't gonna be absolutely perfect, which is what it needs to be. All right, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Fayetteville, North Carolina is like Northern Virginia and Maryland. It is in the 60% hatched risk. And what this is indicating is that there will be damaging winds today. If you are in this 60% hatch risk, there is a very high chance that you will receive some damaging winds. And there is also a chance that you will receive some significant damaging winds. That's what this little, what these little dashed lines mean. And significant is 75 miles per hour or greater. Yes. As for the tornado risk, you're like right in the bullseye for the 15% risk. So, right before the line moves in, there's supposed to be a round of supercells, and I'll actually pull that up. Let's zoom in on North Carolina. So you have your line approaching, but right in front of the line, you can see this kind of cluster right here, and well, these will all be supercells. You can see right here it says marginal tornado. More than enough wind shear for tornadic supercells. That's where that 15% risk is coming from. All right. Salisbury cooked. I don't know. Let's look. Salisbury. I'm pretty sure that's in Virginia. I could be wrong though. It is. Wait. Okay, it is in Virginia. Salisbury's right on the edge of the risk, so I don't. It's possible that you get some damaging winds, and it's higher than what it would be in, say, let's see, let's pick a random. It is higher than what it would be in, say, Ocean City, or Pulaski, sorry. It is, whoa, what happened there? It should be worse than what it is in those locations, but it won't be nearly as bad as how bad it's gonna be in, Virginia. Or, what? It's not as bad as it probably will be in Central Virginia, North Carolina, and parts of South Carolina. Community, Denton, Texas. Denton, Texas. Oh no. I don't know about Texas. I heard like people like Max Velocity talking about a sneaky little threat in Texas, but like I don't really know. Sorry about that. I don't think I'll be able to answer that accurately. Dothan, Alabama. Let's go look at Dothan, Alabama. Looking, going in. Dothan, Alabama. We have Dothan, Alabama now. That, for the day one risk, that is out of the main thing. But that's a little deceptive because the current day one risk actually has that area being the main event. You could see is a 10% hatched risk of tornadoes, which means that one or two tornadoes will form in that area. Some of them may be strong. I will keep track of that. And Syracuse, New York. All right, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if you've been saying that for a long time. So Syracuse is in the high, not the high risk. What the heck? It's in the slight risk area. So this is isolated to scattered severe thunderstorms, and I think the main risk here is going to be damaging winds, although I could be wrong. Yeah, there's a 2% hatched risk for tornadoes and a 10% unhatched risk for damaging winds. That means that there may be damaging winds, but they probably won't be as bad as they're going to be farther south. And for the tornado, it's that even though there's a very low chance of tornadoes, there is still a reasonable chance that one of them could be stronger now. Baltimore. Is that like Baltimore, or is that like an actual city? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, if you're watching this, and you are finding my live stream useful, maybe consider following me. I post severe weather updates. Well, I used to do it for South Carolina and North Carolina, but now I've decided that I'm gonna do it for the full East Coast. Um, so I can often be better than bigger creators because I have a smaller area to look at. All right, let's see what. Okay, Iowa. I don't usually know about Iowa, but what I do know is that it's probably gonna be cold and snowy. I'm not super familiar with what's going on in Iowa, although I do assume that it has something to do with this. Actually, yes, it does, because there's like a super big bomb cyclone. This is the effects of sleep deprivation, guys. Valdosta, Georgia. I probably butchered that like a chicken. I'm sorry. That's in southern Georgia. You are kind of on the edge of the tornado risk, or at least the big tornado risk. You are currently under an enhanced risk from the tornado risk. That means that scattered to possibly numerous tornadoes are possible in your location or around your location, with a small chance of one or two of them becoming strong. Okay, what is that? McBee, South Carolina. If I can't find this, then I will be so disappointed in myself. McBee, South Carolina. Alright, before I answer anybody else's questions, there has been an update to the tornado watch, so I'm gonna briefly go over that. The severe thunderstorm warning for Trenton, Lookout Mountain, Rossville, Whiteside, Valley Head in Alabama, Pine Ridge, Hennigar, Sylvania, Rainsville, Collinsville, Crossville, Shiloh, Bridgeport, that has all been canceled. The line has moved out of your area, and you should be in the clear by now. Now, for this tornado risk, or this tornado watch, they actually upgraded it. There is now a 90% chance of damaging winds. This is extremely high, by the way. Alright, a few tornadoes, including the potential for a couple of strong tornadoes and severe gusts of 60 to 80 miles per hour are the main threats with the stronger thunderstorms. So, be sure to have a way of receiving warnings. Alright, we now have a new severe thunderstorm watch for Dalton, Calhoun, Plainville, Adairsville. Let's go to the radar. Let's see if there's any spinach. Alright, there is actually something right here, close to Trickham, Mount Vernon. This may possibly become a tornado in the future, but we don't know for yet, or we don't know yet. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. I know where that is. I've been there. That is up here, I think. I know it's in northern North Carolina somewhere. Oh, okay, I found it. Alright, so you and Roanoke Rapids are also in the bullseye for the tornado risk. And that's just from the prefrontal supercells. And prefrontal is very simple. It's just the area in front of the front. You also are at the peak risk for wind gusts, so please be sure that you have a way of receiving warnings and that you have a plan for keeping you and your family and your pets safe from severe weather. Alright. Jeez. I'm gonna go with Richmond, Virginia. Alright. Richmond, I think I've already spoken about Richmond. Just like Roanoke Rapids, you're in the bullseye as well. 60% chance of wind gusts, and 15% chance for tornadoes. It could be pretty bad in Richmond. Really anywhere in this area of North Carolina and the parts of South Carolina. Alright, we just got a new tornado watch. Tornado warning. As well as a new mesoscale discussion. So I'm gonna have to stop looking at the comments for a second. I'm sorry. Jeez, there's so many messages. I appreciate all of this. I'll check it after we look at this tornado risk, because this looks pretty significant. Trickham, Mount Vernon, Rocky Face, Hamilton Medical Center, Dalton, Union Point, the Crown Mill Village, Waring, Pleasant Grove. You guys are all under a tornado warning. Please, please, please be sure that to get into your safe spot, because these storms or these tornadoes are almost impossible to see during the day, let alone at night. Do not wait to see or hear the tornado, just go. And while this may not be a super high-end tornado, I wouldn't risk it. I cannot accept co-host, I'm sorry. What time should you not drive in Wendell, North Carolina? Let me find Wendell. I really hope it's a big city. That way I can find it easier. And well, actually, with the timing in general, at this rain, there's like pretty big errors in the timing. At least there's errors that are significant enough, but it depends on what city is close enough to that. Like what city is close to Wendell? It's near Raleigh. Alright. I can't answer this for you, actually. So the storms are supposed to be over Florence, Rockham, Durham by around 2 p.m. today. That's from what I've checked. That's what the Storm Prediction Center said. So I'd say for you, about 2:30 to 3 p.m. That's when the storms should start moving into your location. Alright, I'm gonna stop for a second. We got a new mesoscale discussion. This area could see tornadoes from 100 to 130 miles per hour. So this is a pretty mid-end tornado that's like EF1 to maybe high-end EF2, as well as 55 to 70 miles per hour. Again, this is a pretty low-end wind threat right now. That's simply because it's nighttime and the instability is very low. What the heck? Sorry, I just had a tropical mosquito fly by. I'm gonna ignore him. Also, you could see some hail. Jeez. Hang on. Get out of here. Get. Where is it? Get. Sorry about that. Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm sorry, I'm being harassed by a mosquito right now. It's probably not a mosquito. So Raleigh is actually getting a couple of storms as we speak. But these storms won't be your problem. At least not for now. They'll eventually expand up north. And will also intensify. But right now the instability is too low. Greenville, North Carolina. Alright. Here in like about 30 minutes, I'm gonna have to stop answering a lot of the questions. If there's like any big cities, I'll answer them. But just pay attention for any city near your city. Because the severe weather threat is going to start ramping up soon in Georgia. But I will do for Greenville. So Greenville is inside of the 15% hatched risk for tornadoes, which means that multiple tornadoes are possible within your location. And maybe one or two of these tornadoes could possibly be EF2 or EF3. Florence. Yes. Florence, South Carolina should be around 2 p.m. Although the line may move faster or slower, I will be tracking it right here. And I might take a break at around 7 just to get breakfast. But by 7:30, I will be right back on. I'll be tracking it right here. And by the way, if you guys are watching, please be sure to follow me. I track severe weather. That is like my thing. That's like pretty much the only thing I'm good at in this world is tracking severe weather, especially for the East Coast. So be sure to follow. Thank you all for following. I really appreciate it. Yes. Right. Actually, down here in Greenville, Alabama, there's been a tornado warning that I somehow missed. If you are in Greenville, Alabama, or if you know people in Greenville, Alabama, be sure that they know that there's a tornado watch. Can you check Georgia? Sure thing. So that is one of the most goofy tornado warnings I've ever seen. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted, but it looks like a shield. Come on. I've never seen that in my life. Sorry. So for Georgia, areas closer to the coast will receive more impacts. Cities like Waynesboro, Augusta, Sardis, Hephzibah, Sylvania, Millen, possibly Statesboro and Swainsboro. You could see some pretty significant wind gusts today. This hatched area refers to an area that's like, say, it's like 15%, I think that's what it is, of wind gusts of 75 miles per hour or greater happening in this area. That's what that hatch risk indicates. So if you live in any of these cities, then you could see some potentially significant winds today. As for out here, you can still see some damaging winds. However, it shouldn't be as bad. Obviously things can change, and that's why I'm here, to provide live updates. Can you please check Staten Island? Dude, chill. Yeah. Men. Who is that? Reddit reads, you should push all the thunderstorms out of the way. We believe in you. Charlotte. So Charlotte has a similar situation to everywhere else in this pink area. That's purple, by the way. It may be harder to see. However, Charlotte isn't expected to receive horrible damaging winds like other areas of North Carolina. So there is a really high risk that there will be some form of damaging winds, but they should be on the low to moderate end. When we start getting into this hatched area, that's what we call it. It's these little lines. That's when we can start thinking about potentially like impactful winds. No, 60 miles per hour, that's still impactful, but it's not anywhere near as impactful as 75 miles per hour. Alright, just gonna quickly check on Georgia, see how my buddies in Dalton are doing. Oh, I can't exactly look at the radar if I'm on the Outlook page. Pretty nice bowing segment right here. That could be, if this continues to bow out, we could see a very local, significant wind event right there. But, so this couplet is dissipating, which means that if there is a tornado, like anywhere in this area, it's about to meet a very quick and brutal death. Charlotte. La Plata, Maryland. Yeah. I'll check, I just talked about Charlotte, so I'll check La Plata first. Or is it La Plata? It's one of those things. Here it is. This town actually got hit by a super big tornado not too long ago. But La Plata is supposed to get some potentially destructive wind gusts of up to 75 or maybe even greater than that. Timing wise, it should be around like 6 to 8 p.m. Maybe a little bit sooner if the line hurries up. But yeah. Now for tornadoes, I think La Plata is in the moderate risk for tornadoes. 15% hatched risk. That means that there is a 15% chance that at least one tornado will occur within 25 miles of any given point in this red area. And there's also a 10% chance that one of those tornadoes will be EF2 or greater. Martinsville, Virginia. Let's go to Martinsville. Martinsville. Ah, yes. We have found Martinsville. So Martinsville is on the edge of the tornado risk. You could still see a strong tornado or two, but there's not as great of a risk for tornadoes as there is in Richmond and Petersburg. So now for the wind, let's take a look at that. Now you guys are supposed to have, there is a significantly high chance that there will be damaging winds in that general area. However, because it is not in the hatched risk, any significant wind gusts would be like a freak of nature. We're not expecting super high wind gusts in this area at this time. That could change, and that's why I'm here. I will let you guys know the minute it does change. Bel Air, Maryland. I'm just gonna quickly look at Georgia for a split second. Alright, everything seems to be going smoothly in Georgia. Bel Air. That's a cool name. So, unfortunately, Bel Air is in the 45% hatched risk, which, is very high. That is quite high, especially for this region. Now, that means that, that there's a very high chance that pretty much everywhere in this pink and purple area will receive some form of damaging winds, and that there could be scattered wind gusts that are even stronger than that, possibly bordering destructive winds, which the definition of destructive is 80 miles per hour or greater, or 3-inch hail or greater. Fortunately, hail does not appear to be a big problem in the north. Right. Oh, like, I'm gonna just go to Alabama. I hope it's big city. Okay, I'm super glad that it's right on I-85, because I wouldn't have found it. Now, Opelika is a little different, because the current day one outlook has that region in the highest enhanced risk, or the highest tornado risk on the map. There's a 15%, or not 15, 10% chance of tornadoes occurring within 25 miles of your location, and a few of these tornadoes may be EF2 or greater. That's what that means. Now for the wind threat, you could see some pretty strong damaging winds, but they shouldn't be as bad as what they're seeing now over Tennessee, Kentucky, parts of Mississippi, and parts of northeast Alabama. Let's go back to this. Or rather, what they did see, because the storms have moved. What about Harrisburg, Pennsylvania? Let's look at Harrisburg. Harrisburg, which is actually close to a lot of my family lives in Williamsburg. That's pretty cool. Always glad to meet another Pennsylvania native. Now Harrisburg, for the tornado risk, you could see there's a pretty decent chance that there's at least like 1 or 2 brief week tornadoes. Now, there is also a small chance that these tornadoes could become pretty strong. But given that the tornado threat is a little bit on the lower side compared to what it is down here, and by a little bit, I'm talking a whole whopping 5%, I know. It won't be as bad as they're saying that it'll be. There's a very high chance that pretty much everybody in Harrisburg and Carlisle, Mechanicsburg, Middletown, that area, Lebanon, will see damaging winds. However, there isn't a super high chance that these damaging winds will get like much more severe than 60 miles per hour. Alright, what about Georgia? So currently, northwest Georgia is underneath a tornado watch. And this tornado watch will expire in about 2 hours. But it is a potent tornado watch, and it'll probably be replaced. And if we look at this, there is a 60% chance that a tornado watch is issued for parts of central Georgia. Now for northwest Georgia, the line is starting to move out. If you're living in Dalton or Calhoun or Rome, in any of those cities, the wind gust should start to decline a little bit. By the way, I'm super grateful y'all are asking me all these questions. Because I am more than happy to answer. Alright, Conyers, Georgia. Let's try to find Conyers, Georgia. I don't think I've seen Conyers. By the way, I'll get better at this, like, as time goes on. But this is my second live stream ever, so please bear with me. I'm gonna have to, I'll just briefly go over all of Georgia. So parts of the East Coast, or parts of eastern Georgia, could see some damaging winds. Some of these damaging winds may be pretty intense. Depends on where you are. If you're in this hatched area, it could be pretty intense. If you're not in the hatched area, it's not expected to be intense, but it could be intense in the future. We don't exactly know for sure yet. Alright. As for, somebody asked me if I knew whether Baltimore, Maryland would get hit by a tornado. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I have absolutely no clue. I have no clue whether any of these cities will get hit by a tornado. I just know that tornadoes are possible in this region. And they're much more possible than they are normally. The storm is hitting Fort Mill, South Carolina. It may not be as bad as what it would be in, say, Monroe. Although that's in North Carolina. Did I actually just say Fort Mill, North Carolina? Sorry about that. It may not be as bad as it is in Bennettsville, Cheraw, Pageland, Jefferson, down into Darlington, Florence, Bishopsville, Timmonsville, that kind of area. It may not be as bad as that, but it could be bad. There is a potential for it to be pretty bad. We'll just have to keep watching this. Dunn, North Carolina. Dunn, North Carolina. Let's see. I'm actually just gonna briefly check over here in Georgia, see what the situation is really quick, and then I'll talk about Dunn. Then I'll talk about Dunn, North Carolina. Just look at this radar. Down here in Montgomery, there's a discrete cell, actually. There's a discrete supercell. This has a higher chance of producing tornadoes than anything in this line does. So we'll have to keep watching that. But for now, it looks like the line is still going very strong. You can see these nice little bowing segments. Although it is starting to break apart, that could potentially lead to more of a tornado threat in the future. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see. Alright, Dunn, North Carolina. Let me find Dunn. I feel like that's like more of a coastal plain type of name. Am I right? Dunn. Oh. I'll just go over the entire state of North Carolina quickly. Not models, although pretty sick looking line. What we want is outlooks. Once again, if you're in the central area of North Carolina, around Raleigh, down Durham, you could see some pretty intense damaging winds. And some of these damaging winds could be significantly damaging. There's also a tornado threat that's 15% hatch risk. Alright. It's above Fayetteville. Alright, thank you. So you are actually, like, in the bullseye of this event. You could see some pretty damaging wind gusts. You're in the area that will receive the brunt of the storm, is basically what I'm saying. And also have 15% tornado risk as well. Alrighty. Chattanooga, Tennessee. The line has moved out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. The weather, it may rain for a couple more hours, like lightly, but you should be fine. Pinehurst, North Carolina. I think I had to look at Pinehurst last time that I streamed. Maybe. Okay, maybe not, because I may need some... Oh, wait, never mind. I found it. So, in Pinehurst, you are in the middle of the threat. 15% hatched tornado risk and 60% hatched wind risk. So, you'll receive some pretty nasty storms later on in the day. I think timing should be close to 1 to 2 p.m. There is a PM tornado threat. I cannot say whether there will be a tornado, but there is a tornado threat. Let's pull that up quickly. In Marion, South Carolina. You are in the main risk of Marion, or of everything, not just Marion. You are in this main area. You could receive some pretty intense weather, including the potential for some tornadoes. And some of these could possibly be strong, so always have a way to receive warnings. Alright. Halifax County. Switching it up for me. Good thing I found it immediately. Similar situation to Marion. You're in both the highest tornado risk, and you're probably, yes, you are in the highest wind risk as well. So you will get the brunt of the storm. At least as of right now. That's what is possible. Greenville, North Carolina. Greenville is there's slightly less of a chance for wind than Halifax over there. There's only a 45% chance hatched. As compared to the 60% chance. Still pretty bad. You're gonna get some nasty storms today, but they might not be as bad as what they'll be in central North Carolina. Oops. Alright, let's see if there's any more questions. Rushmere. I don't know where Rushmere is. Might need some clarification there. But, what was it? Durham, North Carolina, similar situation to the ones we mentioned before. You're in the brunt of the storm, or at least that's what it seems like now. You're going to receive the brunt of the storm. You have both the highest wind risk and the highest tornado risk. By the way, guys, if you're new on the stream and you haven't yet, be sure to follow. I cover severe weather and other sorts of weather in the Carolinas and Georgia, but I am now starting to cover severe weather throughout the entire East Coast, because like you can apply what goes on in the Carolinas and Georgia to the entire East Coast. So thank you guys for watching my stream. If you haven't yet, like it, because that really helps it get out there. And not a lot of people are monitoring this specific setup on TikTok. At least none of them are monitoring it as well as me. I'm just kidding. Alright. Calvert County, North Carolina. Calvert County. Where exactly is Calvert County? I don't know where that is. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. But if it's in this red area, pretty bad storms. If it's in the yellow area, could be pretty bad. But it's not looking like it'll be as bad as here. And if it's in the green area or brown area, it's more of like a little interesting, because not many people will be affected in this specific area as of right now. The yeah, you're just under a slight risk right now, and I think that area has had like maybe 2 this year. I'm not trying to downplay the event. It could absolutely be bad, but it doesn't look like it'll be as bad as other areas at the current moment. Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Let's go to Rocky Mount. Where exactly? I wonder if it's in the mountains. If it's not in the mountains, I will be forever confused. Is it in the mountains? Whatever. What? Similar situation to earlier. Oops, I just destroyed the outlook. If it's in the red, it's bad. If it's in the orange, it's bad, but not as bad as it is in the red. If it's in the yellow, it's not as bad as either of those, but still worse than the green. If it's in the green, then it's like isolated severe thunderstorms. And I'm trying to simplify this as much that I can. You're in Lamar, South Carolina. Hopefully I'll be able to find Lamar. So, here's a little thing about tornadoes. is that they are tiny compared to the state, compared to any state. They are so tiny that even in the highest risks, as long as you are staying still, the chance of you getting hit by one is low. Like, very low. Like, the highest is like 60% chance of it hitting somewhere within a 25-mile radius of you. And also, 99% of tornadoes are from EF1 to EF4. And it's probably over 80% of tornadoes are of EF2 and lower. And houses can survive EF2s. Most houses can survive EF2s. Can you please check North Carolina? I'm getting hit by my... Yeah, we can check North Carolina. Do you live in this area right here? Or maybe this one? That would make... Yeah, that would make sense. These could have small pockets of, strong winds. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. It's the strong winds. Unless you live over here, then you might be actually getting the line. What's it looking like for Walder, Maryland? Thank you for the dolphin. Walder, Maryland. Let's go up to Maryland. Let's go to the outlooks. You are unfortunately in the highest risk of the event, both in terms of wind and tornadoes. Maybe actually not tornadoes. You're just outside of the highest risk, but you could still see some tornadoes. That's why it's always important to have some form of warning. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. I'll obviously, the minute new tornado warnings get issued, and the minute I see them, I will announce them on this stream, so you could just follow me, and that way you can check back in on the stream if you really want to. Tennessee should be out of the clear. Now there is still Spurgeon. I like that. Spurgeon, Bristol, Kingsport, Mountain City. All these cities could possibly receive a line, or the line in the future. However, it is predicted that this line will weaken significantly by the time it reaches the Appalachian Mountains, and only the southern end of the line will continue on. Alright, we have a new tornado warning in Alabama. This is moving towards Fort Deposit, but there was already a tornado warning there, so that might be covered. That is from the same storm that we were talking about earlier. Is there any new tornado warnings in North Carolina? There is not any tornado warnings in North Carolina at the moment, and I don't think there will be for at least about 30 minutes. Maybe in 30 minutes it could start ramping up, but until then, I don't know. Oh, I forgot to mention this. There is now a tornado watch over parts of Georgia and Alabama. The rest of Alabama and parts of central Georgia are now currently under a tornado watch. Please be sure to have multiple ways to receive warnings. These tornadoes, especially from this type of system, have a tendency of kind of appearing out of nowhere. They can form very fast and be gone just like that. So always have a way to receive warnings. Carlton, Georgia. Let's try finding Carlton. Carlton. That is on the border, I'm pretty sure. I thought it was on the border. I know it's somewhere on the border because I just saw a map of it. Maybe not. Maybe it's in the south. It's probably in the south somewhere, but I'll just go over the entire state of Georgia. For Georgia, there is an enhanced risk for tornadoes throughout pretty much the entire state at some point. Maybe in the center, there may be a temporary decrease in tornadic activity, but that's a very small window, and I honestly wouldn't count on it. I would treat the whole thing like an enhanced risk. I think it'll be good to drive during 7 to 12 p.m. and see Wendell. What the heck? It depends. Where is Wendell, North Carolina? Is it in the mountains? Is it in the Piedmont, the coastal plain? Or is it along the coast? Seven to 12 p.m. should be fine. There may be a couple of isolated storms. Let's actually look at the model run just to verify. 7 a.m. should be about here. However, this model doesn't think that they will be severe at that specific time. This can all change because the line can very well just suddenly accelerate. Elizabeth City, North California, that is not exactly it's not exactly the East Coast. I have no clue what the weather is like in California, so I'm sorry. Unless it's actually North Carolina and I misread that. I don't know. I'm in central Louisiana. Yes, the rain has just passed in central Louisiana. This is a really, really wide system. But yes, this will be a significant wind event for pretty much everybody in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and eastern and central Pennsylvania. Houston. I don't know about Houston. Like I've said before, like I'm not too familiar with Southern Plains weather because I've lived in on the East Coast all my life. But what was that? What did it say? Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Let's look for Winston-Salem. That I know for a fact that that's somewhere around here. It's right here. Alright. So you are kind of on the edge of the main tornado threat. Could see some tornadic activity in here. But it's not going to be nearly as high as it will be in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia and Maryland. Or at least central North Carolina. It shouldn't be as high as it is there, so that's good. As for the wind, there's a 45% chance that you'll receive some form of damaging wind gusts, but notice this little black dashed line that indicates significant wind gusts, and you are outside of that. Now, there is still a chance that there would be significant wind gusts, but it's lower than something we need to worry about right at this minute. Now, I'm gonna stop for a second. There is a new mesoscale discussion for the upstate of South Carolina, the mountains of North Carolina. I'm gonna turn off this outlook, or this, I'm gonna turn off this outlook. Parts of eastern Tennessee, western Virginia, eastern Kentucky, that general area. Same thing down here. Tornado risk 100 to 130 mile per hour. That's like EF1 to EF2, I'm pretty sure, and 55 to 70 miles per hour wind gusts. Now, that's higher than it usually is. It's usually just 60 miles per hour. However, that is still a pretty typical low-end mesoscale discussion. This may get upgraded in the future, but it was never really, like, the wind risk was never really thought to be super high in, the western portion of the Carolinas. Tornado watch for Atlanta. There will be for 6 more hours, so that'll expire at 10 a.m. New severe thunderstorms. LJ, Calhoun, Adairsville, Rome, Blue Ridge. These are some pretty garden variety severe thunderstorms. They could be pretty intense at times, but it shouldn't be horrible. Alright. Thank you for sharing the live. Is Atlanta in the middle of everything? No. Atlanta is not in the middle of everything right now. But to double check that, I'll just look. Yeah, Atlanta's on the edge of the wind risk. Only a 5% chance of wind, which we've gotten several times this year. In fact, we got that like several times in the past 2 weeks, so nothing too horrible. It's possible that it could get upgraded in the future, and like I said, there's always the chance that significant wind will hit your specific area, but and for the tornado risk, Atlanta's not even included in the tornado risk, so yeah. What about Charlotte? Charlotte? What the heck is Charlotte? Charlotte has the second highest tornado risk on the map. That being the 10% hatched risk. That's basically saying that there's a 10% chance that a tornado will form within 25 miles of you. And there's a small chance that that tornado will be EF2 or greater. That's basically what it's saying. Coffee County. It's a very interesting name for a county. me see. Don't exactly know where Coffee County is, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhere around here. I saw something about it not too long ago. Carlton, Georgia. Carlton, Georgia. I don't know where that is. Sorry about that. By the way, you can access this at WeatherWise at web.weatherwise.app. You can access the exact same map that I'm looking at, and you can go to your location and you can see the you can see what the specific risks are, as well as what warnings are in for your area. Alright. What's the app called again? It's called WeatherWise.app. Just look up WeatherWise, and it looks like this little yellow tornado. That's how you know. By the way, if you haven't followed yet, please be sure to. I cover severe weather. That's like my main thing along the entire East Coast, as well as a specific focus on the regional weather of the Carolinas and Georgia. So feel free to follow if you want to, if you're enjoying my live stream. No one's stopping you. Alright. Thank you so much, Hodstar. Do you think schools will be canceled for Zip? Now, I have no control over this, obviously, and I don't know exactly whether any specific schools will be canceled or not, but it's possible. I also don't really know where it is. If it's along the east, then there's a higher chance than if it's over here. Oh, it's in northern Georgia? Or is it? I don't know. But anyways, the line should be out of northern Georgia by 8 a.m. And it'll probably be in central Georgia by then. So I don't think that schools will be canceled. It is possible if the power goes out. But if not, then I don't really see another reason. Waldorf, Maryland. Waldorf, Maryland. I just saw it. So Waldorf is on the edge. 10% hatch tornado risk and a 60% hatched wind risk. So pretty bad winds. Tornado isn't as bad as it is in other areas, but could still be pretty bad. When does it leave NC? Charleston just got it. I'm not seeing any tornado warnings over Charleston, South Carolina, or Charleston, West Virginia. So I'll know exactly what that's about. But anyways, back to the... Let's take a look at the current situation in northern Georgia. Still got this line. It's probably right about here. Probably would help if I had the radar pulled up, wouldn't it? Now, you may notice these little breaks in the line. That could be where you start seeing more of a tornado threat than a significant wind threat. And actually, let's see, where is the radar at? Okay, it's right there. This area, just to the north of Relay and west of Reesburg, that could possibly become something in the future. As well as down here, there's many couplets that we'll have to watch. But as far as we know right now, none of them are officially tornado warned, so we can at least breathe. Alright. Mansfield, Georgia. Mansfield, Georgia. I don't know where that is. But I can tell you what it'll be like over the entire state, and you can. So eastern Georgia is the highest risk for wind, and tornadoes. Cities like Douglas, Waycross, Brunswick, Savannah, Hinesville, Statesboro, Dublin, all those areas could see some pretty, could see a pretty significant chance of, winds, of damaging winds. As for the, whoops, I just had a brain fart, sorry about that. As for areas more up north, in northern Georgia, the line is currently moving through that right now, and there's a tornado risk and a damaging wind risk associated with this. There will actually probably be one. Alright, a severe thunderstorm watch. Let me get rid of that. A severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for parts of northern Georgia. This will expire in, okay, as well as parts of, western North Carolina. And there will probably be a severe thunderstorm watch. Well. There is now a severe thunderstorm watch for upstate of South Carolina, for parts of, Georgia, and, also western North Carolina. There is now a tornado watch for Gainesville, Georgia, Athens, pretty much everybody in north and central Georgia is under some form of severe weather watch. It's a weekend, Denny. Let's look at it. Now there is a little cluster out here, approaching Greenville and Pickens. That should, that's not the main event. Actually, we do have some cells popping up. These could possibly become supercells later in the day. We'll have to keep watching that. Clover, okay. Clover's... I'm assuming you're talking about Clover, South Carolina. Clover's fine for now. Give it a couple of hours and that's when we start having problems. Alright. The tornado watch for Dalton, Lafayette, Somerville, Tryon, Ringgold, Cahuta, Rossville, Trenton, maybe even Whiteside's in Tennessee. Somerville. All those locations, the tornado watch has been canceled for that. Alrighty. This severe thunderstorm warning is now over parts of LJ, Fairmount, Adairsville, Kingston, Cedartown, Blue Ridge. If you live in any of those areas, don't be surprised if there's some severe weather in the near future. It's kind of a big line approaching. Alright, hi, can you do Norman? Sure. Newman, Georgia. I feel like I know where this is, but I also not entirely. Oh, it was staring at me, and it's Noonan. That's on me. Let's look at the outlook. So, as of right now, that area is currently under an enhanced risk. But that'll probably, decrease as time goes on. And, I'm sorry, I've not gotten any sleep since, last night. So my brain's running a little slow this morning, I must admit. But yeah, right now, parts of, western Georgia are under enhanced risk. That should decrease as that line moves through, and that line will consume pretty much all of the moisture and all the instability. It is like a wildfire. It tears through the ingredients. Nothing new in Georgia. Nothing new in... Well, actually, is... No, that's not in North Carolina. Still got this line right here. All these are typical severe thunderstorm warnings. Still got that enhanced and moderate risk in parts of South Carolina and North Carolina, Virginia, and Maryland. And up into Pennsylvania and down into Georgia. It's a really big moderate risk. Charleston, South Carolina. Yes. By the way, if you're new, I won't be able to answer most of your questions, just because there is a lot of people in my stream, and I can't answer them all. So I apologize for that. For Charleston, there's a significant chance that there will be some tornadoes. Some of them may be EF2 or greater. And there's also a chance of significant winds. It depends on which part of Charleston you're in. If you're in northern Charleston, then the wind risk is higher. Alright. Jasper County. Where exactly is Jasper County? so many new messages. Okay, southeast of Atlanta. Atlanta's right there. Southeast. So it's probably somewhere in here. Let's go to the categorical. You are currently under a slight risk for severe weather. This is pretty similar to what happened on Thursday. Yeah. It's pretty similar to what happened on Thursday in most of the upstate of South Carolina and parts of Georgia, parts of Alabama, and even down into Florida. You could see some pretty significant stuff. Now there is some cells popping up over here in Greenville, Durham, Emporia, Valdosta, Tallahassee, Thomasville, Quitman. There is some small convection that isn't quite worthy of a severe thunderstorm warning just yet. Alright. Yeah, anybody in central North Carolina, this part of South Carolina, anybody in central or North Virginia, and anybody in central Maryland, you could see some pretty significant severe weather coming your way. Alright. I am going to go to the bathroom quick. I will leave the radar up here. Oops. I will be back. Alright, guys. I'm finally back. Got me some waters. Alright. New severe thunderstorm warning. This is covering Dalhanega, Cleveland, Blairsville, Hiwassee, Blue Ridge. I think this might be pushing into North Carolina. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, just this tiny piece of North Carolina right here. Is currently under a severe thunderstorm warning. Make sure to have a way to receive warnings. In case you lose power, a phone is a good way to receive warnings like that. Holy man, this is a long warning. It's just 40 miles per hour. Shouldn't be too horrible. By the way, if you haven't yet, be sure to follow. I cover severe weather across the Carolinas, in Georgia, and now the entire East Coast. But I specifically focus on the Carolinas and Georgia because I've lived in these three states the majority of my life. Still 60 miles per hour. Let's see what my comments are saying. Salisbury, North Carolina. Anywhere in central North Carolina. Salisbury may actually be yeah, Salisbury's in the enhanced instead of the moderate risk, so at least you have that. For sorry. I'm not kidding when I tell you I've not received any sleep in the past 48 hours. Because I've been, like, analyzing the heck out of this setup. But hey, it keeps you guys safe, and I love keeping people safe, so thank you for letting me keep you safe. Anyway, Salisbury, 10% hatched risk. Could see some potential problems in the future in terms of tornadoes, but it's not like a jump out of your skin, like, oh, there's gonna be tornadoes everywhere. It's not like that. It's probably just gonna be a couple of tornadoes here and there in this entire area, not a couple of tornadoes in Salisbury in general. That would be quite disastrous. Okay, Philadelphia. Philadelphia is actually right on the edge. I don't think Philadelphia will have to worry about severe weather impacts for now. And actually, I don't think they'll have to worry about severe weather impacts for quite a bit. Like, maybe tonight. But for now, isn't any significant impacts expected from this storm. And so for Georgia, especially in the region that Athens is in, oh wait, there it is. I don't know why. For this region, it says that it's marginal, but it's actually slight risk there. There is a elevated chance of tornadoes and damaging winds today. Alright, we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning in Ball Ground, Waleska, Canton, almost Holly Springs, like all of this stuff. It, like, if you are northeast of the Kroger in this area, you should worry about a severe thunderstorm hitting you within the next hour. Oops, accidentally bumped the camera. Alright, new update to this tornado watch. It will expire in 6 minutes. Cities such as Talladega, Childersburg, Stewartville, Jemison, Selma, will no longer be in any severe weather risk after 6 minutes. And are basically not in any severe weather risk as it is right now. Maryland. Clarksburg. Where exactly is Clarksburg? Watch it be like right in front of me, like not even able to see it. Well, I don't know, but if it's in Central Maryland, then you could start seeing some really big problems. If it's on the sides, slightly less of problems, but still some pretty big problems. Pretty much anywhere in Maryland is there's gonna be some pretty nasty weather today. Right. New update to the severe thunderstorm warning over Blue Ridge. That's gonna cancel. So not over Blue Ridge, over this area, just west of Blue Ridge. This severe thunderstorm warning will cancel. This one will probably cancel too. About 4 minutes. LaGrange, Georgia. I was just here. It's by Atlanta, right? I think. I mean, kind of. You are very close to getting the line of thunderstorms. It's like maybe it's probably less than an hour out. However, it does seem like this particular section of the line is weaker than the rest of the sections, so might get spared biggest impacts, but it could also be updated at any moment now, so always glad to or it's always good to be weather aware. Okay. Washington, D.C. It is currently beautiful in Washington, D.C. There's not really much going on just yet. What? But in the future, Washington could see some pretty significant wind gusts. But obviously, I'll keep tracking this. You don't have to worry about it. If there's anything super strong, I will tell you. as well, if there's any like possible tornadoes, I will point that out too. And I will list the cities that these tornadoes will hit or are forecast to hit to keep you guys safe. What is Northhurst? Northhurst. Not exactly sure where that is. But it's a similar situation. If it's on the east, then there's a higher chance than if it's in the west. Alright, so unfortunately now, I cannot take any more specific location requests since the line is starting to really kick up. So we're gonna have to switch into tracking mode. Alright, so we have a broken line here. Several severe thunderstorm warnings. Most of them are just typical garden variety severe weather warnings. In fact, I think all of them are. But that may change in the future, and I will let you guys know if it does. Taking a look at the velocity. Alright. So this area close to Yorkville, that could potentially evolve into something. You can see this. Let me close out of that. And get the draw. You can see this little kink in the line here. And basically what that's showing is wind is flowing in like this. And wind is flowing out of the system like that. And what this can sometimes spawn is rotation. That is what we look for in this type of system. Alright, like I've said before, I cannot take any more specific location requests. Simply due to the fact that the severe weather threat is rapidly, ramping up. And see, it was like a pretty, weak line over there, and look at it now. It's a very solid line compared to... The line has solidified. See how it's more like broken? It's got like these little holes in it. Well, now that front edge has become much more solid and much smoother. You can really see it right here. So yes, unfortunately I cannot take specific location requests anymore because I'm going to have to be constantly monitoring this for tornadoes. Got something pretty interesting happening north of Yorkville. A couplet. KFC. Got air flowing down this way, air flowing up this way. Got that rotation. That could become something in the near future. We got some really strong signatures right here. I'm looking at that. That's 72, 73, 70, only 4,000 feet off the ground. So I can imagine that the winds over this specific part of the line would be pretty high. I feel like an upgrade to a 70-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warning is not out of the picture just yet. Alright. To repeat, there is, for those who have just joined, we have, severe thunderstorm watches stretching all the way from Virginia down into the upstate of South Carolina and parts of, northeast Georgia. And we got tornado warnings, or tornado watches extending from, northeast of Atlanta all the way down into the Florida Panhandle. Jeez, we've been streaming for 2 hours now. It's gone by a lot quicker than I thought it would. Let's take a look at this. Yeah. You can see these. Let me get my draw thing up again. Anytime you have these blues really close to the radar, that's how you know that these winds are very high. And that's only 3,000 feet off the ground. It may sound like a lot, but in terms of the storm's height, that's pretty much at the surface. Storms can be up to 15 times taller than that. Alright. Yep. The line has, made decent progress into Georgia. It's starting to impinge on, North Carolina as well. Potential versus tornadoes in the south and strong damaging winds in the north. At least at this current hour. No new updates. In terms of severe thunderstorm warnings or anything. There is not a tornado watch yet in North Carolina. But I do feel like it is likely that there will be one in the future. Alright. If you guys just give me a second, I'm gonna end my live stream on YouTube. Because I don't need it. Because nobody's watching it.